Hello there guys, welcome back to another video, and I'm trying something new stroke something very old here. A few of you watching my channel for many years now. A lot of you have been watching it for an awful long time, and if you do know what I'm on about and you've been watching Blooming and Rising all those years ago, you'll recognise this format. The old-fashioned transfer target with the actual physical target. It's that side, it's all inverted over here, where I'm going to drag some players and put them onto the circle depending on where they should go and all that kind of stuff in terms of how much I think this transfer has got legs and all that kind of thing. People have been asking for this for absolutely years, so I thought I'd bring it back. The nostalgia indeed, Mo. The nostalgia indeed, says Sam and says Ed and so many people. If you recognise it, do hit the like button. If you are a fan of this style of video, please do hit the like button. I'll try and go live as often as I can during the transfer window to do this kind of content and enjoy this kind of style of video. So, yeah, if you like it, please do hit the like button. Let's get loads of likes, and if you get loads of likes, I will bring it back, of course. One thing I'm bringing back always, though, is One Football. Please do me a massive favour. Get all your transfer gossip nice and early. Please do scan that QR code next to my face there, or do click that link in the description. Of course, you can get the best football app on the market bar, absolutely none. One Football is your home for all your transfer goodness and all that kind of stuff. Download One Football right now by clicking the link in the description and get all your Manchester City news, all your stats, and everything you need to know. Every team, every player, every goal from across the game, and it helps support my channel too. So you want to help support me, Reppy One Football today on the t-shirt as well, then download One Football right now. Scan the QR code right there. Do it. Back over to here. So basically, I've got a few names at the bottom today, as you can see, that we're going to discuss. And as I was saying, how it works on the transfer target, this is going to be the way to do it, is the closer you are to the centre and my little face there, my little face there, the more likely it is to happen. So if I had Romeo Lavia here, and he was right on it, it's basically a done deal at that point, If Romeo over here was on the outside, I don't think it's very likely. You're following? And obviously this is always just my opinion. And of course, during a transfer, you want it to get closer and closer and closer and closer until eventually it is done. But that takes a long time. Of course, that's how these things work. I'm enjoying this already, that I've worked out to do this. It's taken me a long time to work out to do it. It really genuinely has. So where do you want to start with? Guys, let me know where you want to start. You guys get to choose. You've got Calvin Phillips, you've got Gavin Bazunu, Marc Cucurella, Gabriel Jesus, and Romeo Lavia. You guys can choose where we're going to start, and we'll get there together, and we'll have a chat about all these footballers. So I'm reading through all the comments here. Already, Jesus coming out there first. Well, Gabby seems to be the one to start. So Gabriel Jesus, the latest report suggest, and let me just get them up so I can have a quick read, double check, and making sure I'm saying this all right. So this comes from James Ducker at The Telegraph. James Ducker is a very reliable journalist, of course. He's one of the Northwest correspondents for the Daily Mail. Essentially, he's very well connected and all this kind of stuff. And he said that Manchester City believe the valuation of around £50 million, Gabriel Jesus, is a fair price. Because, of course, he's got a very proven track record in the Premier League. A very proven track record. Big moments in big games. You think of the Southampton 100 points. You think of his performances, against Chelsea this season in particular, against Liverpool. He was excellent at times. You think of his record for Brazil when he's got 19 and 56. You think of his Champions League record. He is, and he's aged 25 years old, rarely injured. Basically, the idea is that this is a very fair valuation for the player. And do you know what? I absolutely can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with it. I think it is a fair value. Now, apparently Arsenal went in for around 30 million with the first bid. It's pretty much how these things work, is what they do. Someone high balls, someone low balls, and they meet somewhere in the middle, I think we all probably know that this is actually going to happen. We all know Gabriel Jesus is probably going to go. Now, the only thing is, do they actually get 50 million? I think City probably will get close to it. And the reason being is because I do feel Arsenal, if they want the player, Arsenal would not get Gabriel Jesus in 12 months' time. Because if he goes on a free transfer, I guarantee you loads and loads of clubs are coming in for Gabriel Jesus. They absolutely are. You know it, I know it. And the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona and Juve and maybe Bayern Munich, clubs like that I can imagine coming in on a free transfer, because a free transfer Gabriel Jesus is a very different kettle of fish, and pretty much every team in the world would want Gabriel Jesus on a free transfer in their squad. So I think it's really down to Arsenal to get this done right now. They can't wait around, man. So what I think they'll do, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up pushing up a fee of around 30 odd million with loads of add-ons that gets close close to 50 million. Do not be surprised if you hear rumours of this being done for like 45, 47 million or something like that. That's where I see it. It just seems the most logical kind of output for me. So when it comes to actually where I think the transfer is going to go, well, we go to Gabriel Jesus here. Like, Gabby, to me, like, he's not on the outside here because I think he's going to go. He's probably somewhere around the middle right now, I would say. Like, Gabby around here somewhere in terms of... I don't think he's really close, but I think he's pushing towards closeness. Like, around about there. I might make these a little bit smaller so they can get a bit closer to it. The first time I've done this, so I'll make them a bit smaller next time. But I reckon somewhere around here, I would say. Like, you know, he's edging closer to leaving, but it's not obviously guaranteed yet. And Arsenal have got an awful lot to do, I would say. I'd be a little bit disappointed. If you disagree with that location, do let me know, of course. You've got, obviously, centre ring done. I need to define it. Centre ring is done. Middle ring is nearly done. Outer ring is rumours. I would say actually a little bit closer in. I would say it's round about here, you know, a bit closer in. I need to redo that so they're a bit smaller so they fit into the gaps a little bit. But nice graphic. Thank you very much, mate. I've nicked it from my old YouTube channel 5 years ago. Well, I redesigned it today. I sat in a cafe today in Ramsbottom where I live and I was redesigning it all to fit with the EK brand and all that. So Jesus, I think we all probably know is going to go. How do I feel about it? Look, I feel a little bit like, you know, it's a bit disappointing. Like, I really like Gabriel Jesus. I think he's a good player. I do think it's sort of the time for him, you know. Largely, I can understand his desire to go if he does want to go, you know. I get it, you know. It's his career, you know. Haaland's come in, Alvarez has come in. Of course, there's Cole Palmer's development as well as a winger. You know, Grealish will probably get more game time next season as a winger. It's going to get harder and harder for him to get game time, you know. And as much as he played in all the big games, there was also a spell from around January to around like April where he barely played at all. And I don't really think he likes that. We've always had, you know, worries about his suitability as a striker. And then he said he was a winger. Then he said he was a striker. I think he's just a little bit unconfident in Manchester City. And even though he had a good end to the season, I think none of us are really surprised by his desire to go and move his career somewhere else. And if I'm being honest with you, it's probably a good idea. So I understand it and I appreciate it. Who's next on the list? Do let me know who you want to talk about next. We've got Calvin Phillips, we've got Gavin Bazunu, of course we've got Cucurella and Romeo Lavia there. I do find it interesting about Jesus. I mean, I think he is a striker, weirdly. I just think his confidence is absolutely down at the bottom at the moment. So it is what it is. I'm reading all the Cucurella. Okay, all right, we'll go to Cucurella next, and Lavia seems to be after that as well. So we'll go to Cucurella. So Cucurella, this guy here, where do we put him round here? Where do we put him? I'll bring him back for now. Until we discuss it. So Cucurella, what is the latest on this guy? I'll go and read up on all that kind of stuff. The latest is it's sort of quiet actually. It's all like preparing to consider and something their first bid. It's a lot of like flirting. Like they're both looking at each other. You know, basically what you've got here. You've got Man City like doing that thing to the mates. You know, when they notice someone that they fancy from across the other side of the room, but they're not like, oh, go and talk to him. Go talk to him. No. It's not yet. I'll do it later, man. I'll talk to him later kind of thing. Look, but they probably, feel like they've got a good chance, with that person because they see them looking back as well, and they're looking back like that. And they're doing that thing where they slightly hold eye contact a little bit too long, right? And then someone goes, oh, they didn't look. And they're all flirting with each other, but no one's made a move yet. And I think this is where we're at. And where this really weird thing that I'm on about here is because I'll read the latest bits of report. Which basically says that City are essentially set to launch their first bid or something like that. It's all very complicated. This comes from Fabrizio Romano early day. He said that they were going to submit an opening proposal, whatever that means, with the first bid ready and talks advance in the next days. Cucurella remains Man City's top left back target, while Guardiola really wants to sign him. Pro blatant tips, indeed, Dan. I did all right for myself, when back in the day, long curly hair. I look like I was in the Strokes or something like that, the band. So I did all right for myself back in the day. Obviously, I'm a very married man and I've got a beautiful wife, so I don't need to flirt anymore. But Cucurella, I think Manchester City are sounding this out. I've said this a few times. I did hear from someone, not at Man City, someone within the game in general, that Brighton had been looking for a left back, and I actually believe that's true. I think they've been looking for a left back, and I think they've been preparing for this moment. It's weird because when I talk about Pauling up, successful, cheers. When I talk about Cucurella, like in terms of his where he'd be on the thing, he's kind of not. I would say he's kind of like round here in terms of he's far off currently, but the next thing could be like there, really, really close to it. But as it is, about round here, I would say he's probably about accurate, really. Like, he's currently a little bit far off City, kind of flirting with the idea of bidding him. But I do think there is something in this where I don't think I'm moving a tiny bit, maybe, round about there. And I think it won't take much to get done. The only thing really is, of course, is down to the price and all that kind of stuff. They're allegedly asking for around 50 million. I think they're asking for this to stall while they sign a future left-back replacement. What's he called? Someone tweeted me the other day. There was also, of course, I've not gone near Raum, that other fullback. He looks a lot like Angelino to me. I'll mention him in another transfer target video soon. But by the way, once again, if you like this, please do hit the like button. Please do hit the like button if you want this kind of content. And of course, I am reading all your comments as well, and I can get to them all. I can jump over here, of course, and see your super chat comments, like Pete saying he's going to cross over across the pond for a game in the fall. Nice, Pete. You enjoy it, man. I hope you enjoy your time over here. Let me know when you're over. But yeah, I would say Cucurella's around there. He seems to be something that I feel is going to happen. I just have to be patient around it. So let's get on to Romeo Lavia. Now, the reporters here today, with Lavia is interesting. I don't want Romeo Lavia to go. Now, according to Mike McGrath, if you don't know much about him, he's another reporter at the Telegraph, and he said Leeds United have an interest in Romeo Lavia. I wonder why. And apparently Southampton do as well, but City don't want to let the 18-year-old depart. So that's interesting for me. I actually think there's probably something in this. Look, the only thing I would say, and I don't want to try and sound too negative here with Romeo, is that I can't really see him playing for Manchester City anytime soon if we sign Calvin Phillips. What's his own tweet says Mo? What you on about, mate? But I think it's going to be very difficult. Like, he's only 18, of course, but with Rodri and Phillips, they're both mid-20s. Like, they're good ages. So I do wonder if you're going to go on loan. I think there's something in this, but it's not close yet. But I do think there's something in this. I don't think it's all the way out here. I do think there's something in it, unfortunately. I think Lavia would end up going on loan. Do I think he'll go to Leeds United, Southampton? I don't know. Maybe a City Football Group, but I think there's something in this story in general. He's far too good now for EDS football. He's been playing at a level for basically 2 years. He's only 18 still, but I can't really see him going near there. I mean, I can't see it personally. I reckon personally, I can't see him going to Leeds or Southampton, but I do think we'll probably send him on loan somewhere. A City apparently don't want him to go because they think he could play for the first team one day, and I absolutely agree. I think his development, weirdly, he's not stagnated as such, but he's probably been at a level that's been a bit too easy for him from a long time in EDS football. I do wish he'd probably somehow found a loan from him a little bit earlier. Maybe that wasn't the right idea. You got to trust the pros in this kind of stuff, but when I look at Lavia, he's so much talent. That I would love to see him test himself at another level. People saying Burnley in the chat. I can't really see. Maybe Vinny would like him. He's of course a former Anderlecht guy. Vinny knows a lot about Romeo Lavia, and of course Vinny's come from there. So maybe there's something there, man. But it's a lot for a championship to ask him. But I do think he's got so much talent and so much ability that we just have to be patient with Romeo Lavia. In terms of Bazunu, Gavin Bazunu, look, we all probably know this is going to happen. I'm going to put him right over here immediately, Bazunu. That is close to happening, man. Bazunu sat on my head there. Bazuno's going to go around here. It's really close, I think. That's nearly done. Understandably nearly done as well when you think about it. I mean, Bazunu, the latest on there is that... what is it? Let me read the latest. I'm trying to find it now. City have apparently got a sell-on clause in the deal to take Bazunu back to Southampton, entitling them 20% profit on any future sale, as well as a buyback option, which is pretty decent. He's undergone a medical, and it could even be announced that today. It wasn't announced, but I think we all know it's very, very close. Bazunu's essentially next to done. Maybe even drag him a little bit closer. He's just slightly there, hovering right near the centre. That's a matter of time. I mean, it's difficult for Bazunu because as good a keeper as he is, look, I don't really see him getting ahead of Ederson anytime soon. He's a fantastic keeper. He's absolutely Premier League quality. Of course, he just won League One Keeper of the Year as well. He's on the team of the season there. a brilliant gun goalkeeper who's had successful spells at Portsmouth, and of course Rochdale before that, and of course as well he's the number one for Ireland now essentially. So he's brilliant. He's absolutely right to not want to sit on the bench. I get it. I really get it. Everyone's loving this, by the way. Is everyone enjoying this format, by the way? If you are enjoying this kind of new format, please do hit the like button. Please do hit the subscribe button. I can try and make this a very regular thing. I used to do it many years ago when I was a lot younger, a lot more naive, over on Blue Horizon TV. And it's good to bring you back, man. It's good to bring you back. It's just a bit more structure, isn't it? It's a bit more structure. You know what you're getting. But with Bazunu, I think it's going to happen. I don't... Look, the thing is... Cheers, Jack. I'm glad you all enjoy it. But the thing is for me, with Bazunu, he's a really good goalkeeper, but I'm not sure he's got what Ederson has, man. You know, in terms of the ball at his feet and all that kind of stuff. So I think that really matters to Man City. When you look at, like, do you remember that we went around on Twitter recently where it showed Man City's pass graphic and it was like perfectly symmetrical, and people joked it like a molecule for Guardiola football, something like that. That stuff actually, it matters to the shape of how you play. And as good a passer as he is, Bazunu, he's not Ederson, and like, he's more heart than Eddie. I actually agree with that. Yeah, he's a sensational shot stopper, but I think Man City's style is so dependent on what Ederson brings, and we can get frustrated about sometimes Ederson not being the world's best shot stopper, but ultimately, what he brings far outweighs any perceived negatives, in my personal opinion. So Bazunu makes an awful lot of sense, and I think he's pretty much done. In terms of Calvin Phillips, where are we, man? Where's Calvin? Calvin's still pretty much around the outside somewhere. I would say he's kind of similar to Cucurella in that shape, where I wouldn't say he's miles off over up here, but I wouldn't say he's dead close either. So I'm going to put him in the mid-ring round about there. Something. Calvin Phillips, I feel like it's probably likely still. I don't think there's been any really update. It's just that it's interesting to me that the timing of the Romeo Lavia interest coincides with Man City chatting to Leeds about Calvin Phillips. Like, I think Calvin Phillips, when it comes to the outside, by the way, someone said you love the middle. The outside would be up here when it's like, if City are linked to, I don't know, Isco. I'm like, he's over here. Isco's over here, you know what I mean? Like, he's gone. He's just disappeared. Come back, Calvin. But like, to me, I think it's likely still, so I'm putting him around about here, something like that. I think he'd be a good signing. I think people's problem essentially with Phillips is the fee. I tweeted yesterday, very simply, my very concise take on Calvin Phillips it's as simple as this, man. Isco jokes. We'll have that disco eventually for Isco Southampton. My very simple view on Calvin Phillips is that he's a good footballer. I think he's a good footballer. Is he a great footballer? Probably not. But could he become an excellent footballer? Actually, I do believe that. And what I will say is you've got to look at the improvement of players in the Guardiola if they fit his profile. This is one thing I trust Guardiola more than anything. Absolutely more than anything. I'm going to say it. Guardiola gets midfielders. It's that simple. If Guardiola thinks Calvin Phillips has the balls to be a Manchester City player and the quality to be a Manchester City player, I just cannot deny that. It's one of those things where Pep gets it. Pep is literally like, Pep would he would play 11 midfielders if he could. We literally know this is true. And I actually agree with other people saying, like, he's a very physical player, Calvin Phillips. He's got a similar kind of energetic style to Fernandinho. And I do think he's a little bit better passing than realised. Someone said to me on Twitter earlier today that he hasn't got the good enough pass completion. And they said he had a pass completion of somewhere between 70 and 84%. That wasn't quite true. Years ago, he had 70. And if you actually look at Calvin Phillips' pass completion rate, it gets better and better every single year, which is interesting because what that coincides with is actually even going up a higher level and actually playing in better teams and actually being coached by Bielsa. So last season he had a pass completion of around like 84% when he was playing for England, I think, or something like that, and 80-odd% when he was playing for Leeds, which to me is not Manchester City level of like 90-odd%. But I went and looked back at some players before they were Man City players, and pretty much most of them, their pass completion went up by 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10%, because that is how Man Manchester City play. They learn that, of course. And people forget that a good pass completion is not always about the player's passing ability. And it is. But what I mean by that is it becomes a lot easier to pass when the movement and the organisation around you is better. It is, because you don't even have to look. You can play the pass knowing that someone is going to be there. So absolutely, I think he's got the quality. The quality to make passes. And as Alster just said as well, he doesn't need to make the same passes for City as he does for Leeds. He's more progressive when he plays for Leeds because he has to do the creativity as well. Nope, he doesn't have to do that. So I actually do believe he has the technical ability. I do believe he has the energy. And of course, he has the Premier League experience and the physicality because he plays for a Bielsa side. So I understand Manchester City's interested in him. It makes an awful lot of sense to me. I do agree Rodri was better than Phillips is now. Absolutely. I agree with that, Alster, as well, man. I do agree with that. But I actually understand the link. Is it an exciting signing? No, it's probably not. It isn't. If you're English, you probably should be excited because it means Calvin Phillips is about to get a shit ton better. Well, Dan's saying surely he's a better option out there. Maybe there is, man. So people go, you could find some gem for around 30 million. Why are we getting Calvin Phillips for around 50? I don't think it'll be 60. I think it'll be between 45 to 50 if it happens. Why has that extra 15 million come from? It comes from Premier League experience. That adds a few million. It comes from the fact that he's essentially homegrown English. English adds a few million. Add a few million there. You've already got 6-7 million extra. It comes from the fact that his age is good. It comes from the fact that he plays for a Bielsa team. It comes from the fact that as well, he knows so many people around him in the squad, you know. So essentially, that extra money comes from the fact that it's less of a risk. It's as simple as that. He fits the City system. It's less of a risk. And of course, the Man City tax as well. So it's expensive. It's also because we built their own rod for our backs here, you know. Look, Cucurella, when we was first linked, was 30. And now apparently Brighton 150. Look, you can't go in as Manchester City and get a cheap player these days because unless the contract's up, or unless they've got a minimum fee release clause, every player that people are saying, go sign someone for 30 million, I guarantee they're probably worth 50 in other clubs' eyes because that's pretty much how it works. So, yeah, that's how it is. But that's the transfer target. That's the first one I've done in ages. I hope you enjoyed it. Bazunu's sat on me there. Romeo Lavia. I'm going to move Lavia out a tiny bit, I reckon. I think he's not as close. I'm going to say Lavia's out here in terms of going. I'm reassessing a little bit. Jesus. Cucurella probably a little bit further out, even though I think it's likely. Phillips a bit more in, I would say, looking about, you know, I'm getting used to this new system. A tiny bit more in. And Jesus around about there, you know, peeping into the area, I reckon something like that. So these are the players we talked about. Every day I'll go for a few different players, you know. And I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. It is like 20 to 12, so I ain't going to leave it too late tonight. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are a fan of this content, of course, please do me a favour. Hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Of course, as well, download OneFootball, a wonderful app. The best app on the market, and you can get all your Manchester City goodness and all your your stats and transfer information and all that kind of stuff. Scan the QR code there, or click the link in the description. And of course, as well, where we're going over here, big love to Jack, who really enjoyed the content. Jack, thank you so much, man. Jack said, good content, can't get enough. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try and do these regularly, man. I'll try and do them every single day, Jack. You're an absolute legend. I'm glad you enjoyed this kind of content as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm going to bed because it's very late. I say goodnight to my very pregnant wife. Tomorrow, I'm seeing Elton John. Yep, I'm an old man. I know all you young kids are listening to fucking Bugsy Malone and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? I'm going to watch Elton John. I'm going to have a great night on a Friday night. It's going to be wonderful. Saturday. And I can't wait for it tomorrow. Josh as well, just dropping the hot dog. Josh, fucking man, always dropping the hot dog. It's good stuff, man. The hot dog super chat, I love it. It's great stuff. I will enjoy it. Well, I can't wait. Elton John's great. I love all kinds of music, really. Legend. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone. You're all legends. I hope you enjoyed that content. Transfer Target will be back if you enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoy it. Let me know if you want to see this again, and I can do it very, very, very regular. You're all absolutely awesome. In a bit, good night. See you tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow, Asan, by the way. Me and Asan do some chat in the morning. It's going to be very good fun. In a bit.